Astros Baseball 89 is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste that makes Budweiser the king of beers. For all you do, this Bud's for you. By Kroger. Look for the red-handled scissors, your symbol of savings on items throughout the store. By Goody's Headache Powders and Extra Strength Tablets. Goody's, when you work for a living. And by the Southwestern Bell Corporation, the one to call on.
Good afternoon, everybody, from Candlestick Park in San Francisco. It's Game 3 of the weekend series here between the Houston Astros and the San Francisco Giants. A most important game for the Astros, who are now 3 games behind the Giants in the Western Division. And a good afternoon to you. Bill Brown along with Larry Dierker. We have all kinds of interesting twists to this series, and the latest one is that Bob Nepper will be opposing the Astros today. Larry?
Well, I think the Astros are anxious to find out what it looks like from the other end, because they've certainly been on the fielding end of a lot of line drives this year. Now they like to hit some.
The standings reflect the fact that the Giants have been able to turn things around with this series. They had a bad road trip, but they now have a 3-game advantage over the Astros, who are just 6 games ahead of San Diego. The Padres are playing better baseball of late. Los Angeles, Cincinnati, and Atlanta are the bottom 3 in the Western Division. Therefore, it's a potential 2-game swing. Are the Astros 2 games back, or are they 4 back? That's what they're playing for today, and Rick Rhoden will be going to the mound for them.
Well, Rhoden should be a good pitcher for Candlestick Park. He is primarily a ground ball type pitcher with a sinking fastball and a big slow curve. Hopefully he'll be able to command those pitches in the winds that gust around and fight you when you're trying to pitch here at Candlestick. If he does, I think he can hold the Giants down. Then it's a matter of whether the Astros hit Nepper or not.
And hitting anybody for the Astros has been a problem in this ballpark. They haven't won here in Candlestick this year. They're hitting under 200 as a team. Bob Nepper facing the Astros for the first time since 1980. He's a new man. He was grinning ear to ear before the game today, put on a new uniform, new attitude. He said his emotional intensity will be about what it was during the 1986 League Championship Series. He pitched a good game for the Astros on that occasion.
Yes, he did, and I think sometimes a change of scenery can really help a veteran player who has gone stale in a situation, and that's where Nepper was in Houston.
The Astros are hoping that their bats are waking up to face Bob Nepper today. We'll see how they do in just a moment.
For the fire, for the drive, for pushing hard each time you try, for the hero staying true, for the team for coming through. This blood's for you.
In '88, she won her 3rd consecutive world title and 10th world championship. She's Bernie Little's Miss Budweiser.
This blood's for you.
Only one long-distance company offers so many ways to save 24 hours a day. No matter when you call, only one company, AT&T. Our Reach Out America plan lets you save 24 hours a day with all the service and quality of AT&T. No one even comes close. No one. Call 1-800-REACH-OUT now.
Listen to the scissors cutting all around. Don't you love the sound of the price coming down? Don't you love the sound of the price coming down?
USDA Choice Boneless Beef Round Steak, $1.39 a pound. Sparkle Paper Towels, single rolls, 2 for $1. Limit 2 per person with $10 purchase or more. And Michigan Blueberries, 5-pound box, $5.99.
Palermo of San Jose has performed our national anthem, and this big crowd has come to see the first-place San Francisco Giants continue its excellent effort at Candlestick. The Giants have won 7 games in a row at home and 9 of their last 10. They're the best home ball club in the major leagues right now, and the Astros have failed to win here so far this year in 5 tries. They've scored just 4 runs in the 5 games. They're hitting only 182 here at the stick this year, and they go against a Bob Nepper who feels that in working between assignments between teams. In fact, the last few days he's rediscovered his fastball. He says he has another foot on his fastball now, and that he was trying to throw too hard earlier this year. So Rick Rhoden will take the mound in a few minutes, Larry Dierker, well knowing that his ball club has not been producing runs lately.
But I don't think you really think about that when you're starting a ball game. If you do, you're making a mistake, because any time a team can break out of a hitting slump, and you've got to go in with a positive attitude. Rhoden himself is a pretty good hitter, and I think he would feel, having watched Bob Nepper this year, that the Astros are going to put some runs on the board for him. What you have to do is pay attention to your business and get the other team out.
Well, Nepper was just completing his warm-up tosses in the bullpen, so he had gone inside a few minutes ago and then came back through a few more pitches with Norm Sherry, and now he's making the walk down toward the Giants dugout. So maybe he's changing his warm-up routine for this game.
Well, he certainly should think about changing something. While he was with the Astros, he started 20 ball games, and in none of those games did he allow fewer base runners than he pitched innings. Didn't have a single commanding performance. Only 4 times did he strike out as many batters as he walked. And so it's been a terrible year for him so far. And this change of scenery may give him the change of perspective that he needs. He's healthy. There's nothing wrong with his arm. It's just that he hasn't pitched well.
And the Giants, who have had all kinds of problems with pitchers who were not healthy, were glad to get somebody who could give them some innings. That's why they released Goose Gossage and signed Nepper. The umpiring crew has received the lineup cards at home plate. Art Howe ejected for the first time in his career as a player or manager yesterday, when Charlie Williams was agitating and irritating the Astros with his calls of balls and strikes. And that led to Craig Reynolds making a comment when he was at the plate. Williams said, "Do you have a problem?" And out came Art Howe, and the frustration has really grown for the Astros. They really want this game in the worst way, and it'll be a most interesting afternoon to see how they cope with the situation.
Well, there's the lineup card that Art Howe is going to present, and it's a little bit different with Eric Gelding leading off. You just saw Rafael Ramirez out with the umpires, and apparently he's got a bat that he wants to use, and he wants to make sure that it will be all right with the umpires. Looks like it's got something near the end, maybe some discoloration. He wanted to show it to them first.
Bob Nepper of Calistoga, California, walks out to the mound. The memories return, perhaps, flashing through his mind of the beginning of his career. He was drafted in the 2nd round by the Giants in June 1972. Had some fine years here, but was traded after the 1980 season, and things had gone sour for him at that time. He's waiting for the ceremonial first pitch to be thrown out. And there it is to Kurt Manwaring. And now very soon Nepper will take the ball and begin his tosses from the mound. He's wearing number 28. He's back in the Pacific Northwest, living in Roseburg, Oregon, not too far from here. And Bob Nepper told me before the game today, this is just the dream way to wind up my career. He said, "I'd love to come back and give them a good 2 months here, and then maybe pitch next year and maybe another year after that here."
There's nothing that's going to stop him in terms of his physical well-being. It's just a matter of whether or not he can make the pitches that he's made during his career to win 140 ball games. And I'm talking about that good sinker away, the slider, and the curveball in the strike zone. His problem this year is he's been behind almost every hitter he's faced, and he's allowed so many base runners, 195 of them in 113 innings. There's no pitcher that's good enough to pitch out all that trouble.
No, sir. Eric Gelding is the starter at second base. Billy Doran's been in a tailspin, and Art Howe wants to go with Gelding today against Nepper with all the off-speed stuff. Rafael Ramirez and Craig Biggio are the next two. Biggio moved down to the number 3 spot in the lineup with Doran out today with resting there, and Davis is 4th, Caminetti 5th, Billy Hatcher and Mark Davidson are the right-handed hitting outfielders, joining Gerald Young, the switch hitter, and Rick Rhoden, a good hitter himself.
I know it's frustrating for Bill Doran to be out of the lineup, but perhaps by sitting out a couple of days, he can start with a fresh perspective himself.
Nepper works to Kurt Manwaring, an excellent defensive catcher. Matt Williams and Jose Uribe are on the left side of the infield with Robbie Thompson, who was a doubtful starter because of back problems. He's in there again, and Will Clark at first, of course. Kevin Mitchell in left, the other half of the Pacific Sock Exchange, along with Clark. Brett Butler in center, and he came alive yesterday. Pat Sheridan is in right. So Billy Doran, he wants to be in there every game, and he's never happy about sitting out, but he'll have to sit out at least for a while, maybe come in later as a pinch hitter.
Flanked by Harry Spillman, who spent time with the Astros and the Giants, as has Nepper, and Mark Portugal, who injured that knee the other night on a fielding play. He threw before the game and reports that the knee is all right.
The Astros will welcome any good news physically. John McSherry is the home plate umpire with Joe West at first, Jerry Crawford at second, Charlie Williams at third. And Eric Yelding tries to trigger things for the Astros. Hopefully they'll have a Goodies home run sweepstakes winner. $900 on the line in the top of the fifth. Yelding's had only 43 at-bats. He's been with the club all year with 10 hits. And he looks at ball one. The Astros have scored just one earned run in their last 39 innings here at Candlestick. And Nepper has a 1-1 count. Bob's last outing before being released by the Astros was in relief against Philadelphia. He allowed 2 hits and gave up 3 runs, faced just 3 batters, and left quickly in a 4-3 loss to Philadelphia. Yelding lifts one to Sheridan in right. 1 out. The Astros tried everything they could to get Bob Nepper turned around. Art Howe met with him and told him he was still very confident that he could do the job. Nothing seemed to work. Rafael Ramirez carries a 6-game hitting streak to the plate. He's 8 for his last 24, hitting .256 with 4 homers. He's driven in 36. And looks at ball one. Ramirez is 2 for 8 in this series, including a homer. Strike, and it's 1-1. Of course, Nepper has been with the Astros since 1981. So he hasn't faced them since then, but his career record is 6-3 against Houston with a 2.34 ERA. 2 balls and a strike.
One thing Nepper may be able to do in the early going today is to get ahead of the hitters by just throwing one down the middle on the first pitch. I don't think anybody's going to be swinging at the first pitch for a while.
There's a check swing down the line in right, and it drops for a base hit for Ramirez, who will hold with a single. That gives him a 7-game hitting streak, and it was an excuse me base hit, but the way the Astros are going, they will not say excuse me.
No, they'll just say thank you. They try to go on from there. Well, if you're taping the game and thinking about putting together an instructional film, edit that out.
The Astros managed just 5 hits yesterday, all of them singles. Matt Galante is at third as usual, but it's Ed Napoleon coaching at first base. Phil Garner came up with a kidney stone either late last night or early this morning, and he unfortunately is in the hospital here in San Francisco. Craig Biggio is batting third, and he's really given some life to the top of the order since moving up from the bottom half, hitting .281. And Biggio, who was batting 8th quite a bit of the time earlier this year, has 8 homers. He's driven in 39. Since moving to the upper part, he's hit .355. In 17 games, he scored 13 runs and driven in 10. And he looks at ball one. The Astros are probably very intense mentally about this game.
That could prove to work against them.
Yes, it really could.
You have to be very patient to hit against Bob Nepper. And there may be a few guys that are a little bit too aggressive.
Two balls and no strikes. So Biggio, who went from being battery mate now to opposing hitter with Bob Nepper, has a count in his favor.
Takes a look at Matt Galante to see if he's going to be taking a pitch or swinging away.
The Astros, with a 4-game losing streak, have tied their longest negative streak of the year. It's the 3rd time they've lost 4 in a row. 2-1 now. When Nepper has things going well, he can be in a rocking chair on the mound. And in those 6 wins, he has 3 shutouts against Houston and 13 games pitched against them. It's a 3-1 count. Roger Craig, who's been a motivational influence for many of his pitchers, has a way of being able to work with a veteran pitcher and turn his career around. The runner's going, and Biggio takes ball 4. So Nepper is drawing some early boos from the fans here at Candlestick with this kind of a start.
Well, you can't blame him for the check swing base hit that Ramirez got. And he did throw the ball in there to Yelding, although Yelding ended up hitting it pretty hard.
Now Glenn Davis. He and Bob Nepper, very good friends. Glenn has 24 homers, 63 runs batted in. The friendship ends right here. At least during this game time. Glenn's hitting .258. And looks at ball 1. It must seem awfully strange for some of the Astros hitters to now be facing their teammate of so many years.
They've certainly faced him a few times in inter-squad games at spring training. This is a little bit different.
Davis hits one toward Brett Butler. 2 outs.
Well, Nepper seemed to think that he had found the sinking fastball and wanted another chance to pitch in Houston, and now he's pitching for the Giants. And so far in this game, it's hard to imagine that it's sinking very much because all 3 balls that have been hit into the air.
Wind is blowing across, if you judge by the flags in center field, and out to right field.
The way it looked during batting practice, the ball was carrying very well to right field and not to left.
That can be almost a jet stream effect at times in this park. Ken Caminetti's hitting .256, 6 homers. He's driven in 48 and takes a strike. Caminetti 0 for 6 with a walk in this series. As a right-handed hitter, he's at .342 this year. Biggio behind Ramirez on the bases. Close. Manwaring thought he had it, but it's 1 ball, 1 strike.
The Giants are really spread out on the infield. They're giving Caminetti all kinds of room up the middle, and they're not making too much of an effort to hold Ramirez.
Matt Williams makes a play, and Nepper works out of a jam in the first. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, 2 left. After 1/2 inning, there's no score.
When I made the big leagues, I was the talk of Katy, Texas. But now the big news is Texan Ford.
Texan Ford has over 700 new Fords in stock. Take your pick. Mustang LX, Escort GT, or Tempo GL. Your choice, $89.89. Only from Houston's #1 retail Ford dealer. Our '89 season's in full swing. Mustang LX, Escort GT, or Tempo GL. Your choice, only $89.89.
So take it from one winter to another. When only the best will do, it's Texan Ford and you.
Here are a few items you can add to a new home to save on energy costs, like the energy-efficient heat pump, superior levels of insulation, quality ductwork, an energy-efficient water heater, insulated doors, specially treated windows, caulking and weather stripping, attic ventilation. Or another way to save on energy costs is to simply buy the package deal. The Good Sense Home, saving you money like no other home can.
Tonight at 6, some of us just refuse to grow old gracefully.
I've never done anything like this.
You could have fooled me.
One day I woke up, I was 40 years old. My daddy was dead. My own kid was gonna be a father, maybe. And everybody was turning to me for all the answers.
Bruce Dern is middle-aged crazy. Tonight at 6 on Channel 20.
Rick Rhoden's turn to take the mound. No score as the Astros had a threat in the first inning. Now the Giants come around against Rhoden, who's 1-3 this year. Larry?
Last time out, he beat the Reds 5-0. He went into the 6th inning of that game and was unable to get out of it. Got good help from the bullpen. That was his first win as an Astro and his 150th win as a major league pitcher.
Rhoden 6-7 lifetime against the San Francisco Giants, and he has a 1-3 record here at Candlestick. He'll be facing Brett Butler, Robbie Thompson, and Will Clark. Kevin Mitchell bats 4th. Matt Williams is at 3rd. Pat Sheridan in right. Kurt Manwaring the catcher. Jose Uribe the shortstop, and Bob Nepper the pitcher. The Astros, of course, have had some bad news lately. Mike Scott was shelled yesterday in his start, and his hamstring still isn't feeling very good for him, so he may or may not be able to start his next scheduled game, which would be Thursday in San Diego. And Jim DeShays is scheduled to take the mound tomorrow night against Bruce Hurst. DeShays hopefully will be all right after his recent elbow problems. Mark Portugal reported that the knee felt all right, as Larry indicated, for his Wednesday night matchup with Ed Whitson. And Jim Clancy, after a relief appearance in this series, will be a starter Tuesday night against Don Schulze. Those are the pitching matchups for the upcoming series at Jack Murphy Stadium. So right here, Rhoden hopes to notch his 2nd straight win. The Astros didn't win any of his first 7 starts, but he got things turned around against Cincinnati last time, and then since his win, the Astros have not won a game. So Rhoden again can be a stopper, facing Brett Butler. Butler had a 3-hit game yesterday, the 6th of his season. He hit his 4th homer. He's driven in 26, hitting .281. And that one really got away from Rhoden. Ball 1.
Rhoden has changed a little bit as a pitcher since leaving the Pirates, going to the Yankees, and then coming back to the National League. He used to throw a lot of sliders. Now his primary breaking pitch is a curveball.
1-1 to Butler.
Had good movement on that fastball. Now the flags are blowing the other way, Bill.
Good luck playing the infield or outfield today.
Or pitching, for that matter. The wind will affect your pitches, especially your breaking stuff. But the slower you throw the pitch, the more the wind takes control of it. And one of the problems you have as a pitcher is adjusting as the game goes along. You may go out there in one inning and have a big curveball. The next inning, when you throw it, the wind may knock it down and shorten its arc. So you're constantly trying to adjust. In fact, I think that's one reason the guys that have the good sinker can pitch well here, because it's a pitch you throw hard and it goes down. You just try to keep it around the knees and don't worry about hitting corners that much, and it makes it a little easier.
1 ball, 2 strikes, the count on Butler. 2-2. Brett got a little unhappy about some suggestions made by his hitting coach, Dusty Baker, yesterday during batting practice. Apparently Butler wasn't heeding Baker's advice, and Baker said, well, I won't help you then. Butler grabbed a bat and took it down in the tunnel and did some damage. But that snapped him out of his slump. Just got mad. And Yelding retires him. 1 out.
Well, if that would get you out of a slump, Doran had been out of his long ago.
Robbie Thompson is next, hitting .250. 11 home runs, 35 runs batted in, and the father of twins this weekend. So Robbie Thompson, like Bob Nepper, has gone through some emotional highs in the last few hours. Thompson's hitting .304 in games at Candlestick this year, leading the league in triples with 9 and in hit batsmen with 10. That one's into center field, and Thompson's on. And now it's Will Clark. Clark, in his last 18 at-bats against the Astros, has 9 hits, 3 of them homers, and he's driven in 6. He's a .405 hitter against Houston this year, including 4 homers and 11 runs batted in. 17 and 79 overall with a .334 average which is third best in the league. He's only 2 points behind Tony Gwynn, and very soon Barry Larkin's name will drop out of the league leaders because he's been on the shelf so long he won't have enough at-bats to be listed. In fact, Larkin would not have enough plate appearances this year with the time he's missed through injuries to qualify for the league batting title, so you really might say for now looks as if Tony Gwynn and Will Clark will be up there battling it out.
Well, I think I'd put my money on Gwynn.
Yes.
But if it came to total damage, I'd take Clark.
Well, Clark with a power hitting stats, second in runs scored, and there in runs batted in. He's third in total bases, second in runs, fourth in slugging, second in on-base average, and tied for fourth in doubles and third in extra base hits. So he does more damage. The Astros, interestingly enough, are not overshifted against Clark the way they have been in this series and the way they were in the Dome against him.
It may be that Rodden's got a different idea about how to pitch him, and because of the way he plans to work, they've changed their defensive alignment.
Runner goes, and Clark protects by swinging. There's a throw, not in time.
Nice throw by Biggio, but Thompson had the jump, and he got his 9th stolen base. He's only been caught twice.
So the Giants, who have stolen 6 bases in their last 6 games, including that one, had not stolen a base in their previous 13 games. They're turning it up on the bases again. 1 ball, 1 strike, the count to Clark. It's 2-1. When the Giants played the Dodgers used a different type tactic against Clark. They seemed to be inviting him to hit it to left field and played him pretty much straight away with the center fielder a few steps over toward left center. Clark said he likes to come up against the shift because he looks for the ball over the inside half of the plate.
That's the problem with it. If the pitcher sees all the defensive players on one side of the field, he feels obligated to make the hitter hit that way, which gives the hitter an idea how he's going to be pitched.
Biggio and Rodden aren't together on the signs. They'll talk it over. The Astros had to change their signs, the entire set of them, with Bob Knepper joining the Giants, of course. Art Howe tried to spark something yesterday as he and Charlie Williams went at it. Nothing happened offensively for the Astros. Now they're hoping that Rodden can shut down Clark and perhaps Mitchell behind him here. Three balls and a strike. Art's comments to you, by the way, on Around the Bases, Larry, were very interesting. He said it's not the end of the world if the Astros leave here 4 games behind the Giants. Now the intentional walk will come to Clark.
The thing that you concern yourself with in terms of trying to project the pennant race is the fact that the Giants seem to have the better end of the schedule in September. They'd like to make up ground immediately because they play so well at home, and you don't know that they're going to do that the rest of the year, but you have to assume they'll play better than they do on the road. And they're at home for most of the last 2 weeks of the season, and in California for most of the month of September. They don't have any tough traveling to do.
Kevin Mitchell's at the plate now, the major league leader in homers and runs batted in with 34 and 94. He's 10th in the league in batting average at .291. 1 out, runners at first and second. No score in the first. Mitchell takes one, and it's a strike. Clark has done all that damage against the Astros. Mitchell, though, has been held to a 176 average with 3 runs batted in against them. Clark has been removing a lot of runners from the bases by the time Mitchell comes up. Yelding went to the bag at second.
You would have to imagine that there are some teams around the league that have been able to retire Will Clark and can't get Mitchell out.
Yes, sir. One ball and one strike to Mitchell, who's taken 58 walks this year. He's 9th in on base average, but he's up there primarily to hit, and he'll be the first to tell you that. Mitchell, in his days as a New York Met and San Diego Padre, always has been an aggressive hitter. He went from a handyman type player on the 1986 Mets to a real mainstay and power plant for this year's Giants. 1 ball, 2 strikes to him.
Mitchell played third base. He played outfield for the Mets. I saw him at first base one game. He was more or less a utility player, and he was not an everyday player. In San Diego, he did not hit well at the beginning, and they had him in and out of the lineup. But since he's come to the Giants, he's been pretty much an everyday player. At first, they used him on the infield at third, and now he's been a mainstay in left field.
1 ball, 2 strikes. He goes to right. Davis catches it. He can't get a double play. What an effort, and a nice play by Glenn Davis, cutting off extra bases down the line.
Oh, just another easy out. Roden was trying to get that ball in. He got it away. Davis went high to get it. But Clark was alert enough to get back.
Nepper worked out of a 2-on and 1-out jam in the first, and now Roden tries to do that same thing against Matt Williams in the Giants half of the first. Williams has 4 homers. He's driven in 8 with a .206 average. Caminetti is right there, and he'll play it to first. That will do it. Roden and Nepper both escaping big problems in the first inning. No runs, 1 hit for the Giants. 2 men left. Fine defensive play by Glenn Davis helping, and through 1 there's no score.
The taste of Bud Dry. It comes on strong. Then it's gone. Brewed longer, so every smooth, clean taste disappears without a trace. New Bud Dry. It comes on strong. Then it's gone.
You know what really burns me up? My feet. Athlete's foot kept flaring up. I get rid of it for a while, but it'd just flare up again. Finally, I went to the doctor. He told me to get Tinactin. It's what doctors and pharmacists recommend most. Tinactin even cures recurring athlete's foot. Use it regularly like they tell you, and it'll keep the fire from coming back.
Fast-acting Tinactin puts athlete's foot out for good.
A while back, John Barricato went car shopping.
I'll take a couple of these, 3
He
of those.
bought 10.
Any particular color, sir? Nah.
Then he did something really unusual.
Ready? Ready!
You see, John leads the arson team at Aetna, the company leading the fight against one of America's most expensive crimes. And if we can learn something, we don't mind burning a little cash today.
This is what you look for.
To save customers a bundle down the road.
We're gonna need more cars.
Wednesday, August 16th, the first 15,000 kids 14 and under at the Astros-Pirates game will get their own set of Colt 45 trading cards, courtesy of the U.S. Forest Service. Hey, for tickets, you can call 526-1709 or stop by the Astrodome box office.
Billy Hatcher's the leadoff man in the second. It's a scoreless game from Candlestick. Hatcher takes a strike. He's hitting .231 with 3 homers, and Billy's driven in 43 in a scoreless ball game so far. One ball and 1 strike. Terry Poole got the nod in left field each of the last 2 games here at the Stick. So Hatcher's up for his first at bat of the series. Nepper brings swings in the slow curve, and it's 1-2.
Well, Hatcher has always been a streaky hitter, and he's been cold lately. Not time for him to heat up again.
He lunged at that pitch, and Uribe is waiting to retire him. 1 out. Knepper's slow curve, at least once earlier this year, was clocked about 57 miles per hour.
Hard to make yourself wait on a pitch that slow, because most of the pitches you see in the big leagues come in between 70 miles an hour and 90 miles an hour. You get a pitch that's way out of that range, either 95 or 97, a guy that throws extremely hard, or a very, very slow pitch, and it's hard to time.
Here's Mark Davidson now, former Twin, looking at ball 1. Davidson hit his home run in Philadelphia off Dennis Cook, the former Giant. He has 2 runs batted in and a .200 average for 30 at-bats. He fouled that one on a check swing, and it's 1 ball, 1 strike. With Knepper being picked up by the Giants after he cleared waivers, they only have to pay him the prorated share of the major league minimum between now and the end of the year, which is a little bit more than $20,000. Two balls and a strike. In the case of the Toronto Blue Jays, they claimed Lee Mazzilli on waivers, so they had to pay that share of his salary. Matt Williams makes the play. 2 outs.
Probably looking at the 2 third basemen of the future in the National League in this game today, Caminiti and Williams. This guy is big, 6'2" and 205, but he plays like a smaller man. He can play short. He's got soft hands and a good strong arm.
And high grass to help him a little bit here. Gerald Young's hitting .229, but you can overlook that when he's playing the brand of center field he played yesterday. What a catch he made on a ball hit to right center to the warning track by Matt Williams in the 4th inning. Sheridan's waiting. Knepper has an easy second in 1-2-3 fashion. After 1.5, there's no score.
Ask the Astros, where you ask the question. Brought to you by Gatorade Thirst Quencher. Ryan from Deer Park asks Mike Scott, how much do you practice your pickoff move? Back with the answer after this.
Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball.
You got a thirst.
Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball.
You know what you need.
Give me the ball.
Fluids and minerals fast.
Give me the ball.
Energy for hard-working muscles.
Gatorade.
Nothing's better. Give me some of that Gatorade.
Well, Ryan, we in spring training, we all work on pickoffs to second and first, basically, and once in a while we'll try to pick off at third base, but it's one of the routines that we do every day in spring training, and during the season you get away from it a little bit, but we pretty much got it down by the time spring ends.
Good afternoon, Dad. Keep your hands off the fender. You know Chevron has a new 93 octane gasoline?
Is that right?
Maybe I could go fill it up. Just to the gas station.
For even better performance, introducing 93 octane Chevron Supreme with Tekraline. Nothing's better at keeping valves clean.
3 hours? Gee, Dad, you didn't want me to mix the old gas with the new gas, did you?
Chevron, we're with you all the way.
Astros Baseball 89 is brought to you in part by Snapper. It's a snap with Snapper. Snapper, mowers, tillers, and tractors.
Well, there's Ed Napoleon, who positions the Astros in the field, and he is connected with the Eye in the Sky, Dave Roberts. Hope you got a chance to see the feature. And Larry chatted with Dave Roberts about that positioning on Around the Bases before the ball game today. Positioning a very important facet of playing in the field, and that's what the Astros have really concentrated on this year. Pat Sheridan's the leadoff man in the home second for the Giants, hitting .210. Taking a strike, he has a homer, and he's driven in 5.
Sheridan hit Roden very well when he faced him in the American League. 5 for 13, including a home run.
1-1 to count. Sheridan is having a good series, 3 for 6 with an RBI. And that came yesterday in his 2-hit performance. One ball and 2 strikes. Roden had the rehab time at Osceola, of course, after his injury sidelined him for quite a long period of time. Bursitis behind the right shoulder. So just as some of the other Astros pitchers are experiencing their injury problems now, he's healthy again.
I don't understand why the Astros are trying to pitch him away now. When he first came over to the Giants and in the first series at Candlestick and then back in Houston, they pitched him inside with hard stuff and got him out. And now they've been going away, and he seems to hit the ball well to the opposite field.
Young is shading him toward left center. Kurt Manwaring on deck. Texas leads Baltimore 2-1 in the last of the 9th inning. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Orioles beat Nolan Ryan last night. Toronto got a 1-run win over the Yankees today, 6-5. Kansas City's on top of Minnesota 3-2 in the 8th. Billy Hatcher in left field is waiting. There's one out. It's Detroit trailing the White Sox 3-2, top of the 8th inning. Chicago has a long winning streak at home. And California with a 4-0 advantage over Milwaukee in the 7th in that torrid battle for the top spot in the AL West. California and Oakland just a half game apart. Boston and Cleveland are battling for second in the East, and the Red Sox lead that one 6-4 in the 9th inning. Carl Yastrzemski's number retired today. Kurt Manwaring has driven in 17. He's hit .224. There's ball 1 to him. In his last 19 starts, the Giants record has been 15-4. Manwaring 1 for 4 in this series, and he's been a good defensive player. Just missing outside. Roden falls behind 2-0. Phillies and Cardinals are tied in the last of the 9th at Busch Stadium, 1-1. Montreal has the jump on the Mets 1-0 last of the 5th inning at Shea. Mark Davidson is backpedaling. Long way to the warning track for Manwaring for out number 2.
You can see how the ball is carrying to right field. Manwaring is not a power hitter by any stretch of the imagination. He hit it all the way to the warning track to the opposite field.
Jose Uribe at .235 as a homer. He's driven in 26, and yesterday he drove in 2 on an infield hit. An oddity. 1 for 5 in this series.
The biggest oddity is that it was called a hit. Davis bobbled the ball and picked it up and then threw late to Anderson.
1 ball, no strikes. Caminetti is hustling for it. Glasses down. Nope, he lost the ball. He had the glasses down, but that doesn't always help. He had a long way to go, and there is all that room in foul territory. Now he's checking the sun once again.
He tried to get the glasses down. I don't think he got them down.
Oh, he missed. Well, Craig Reynolds had a tough time, caught a pop-up yesterday. He was playing second base, and he caught it down the right field line. He said he never saw the ball until about the last 15 feet. 2 balls and a strike. He said he had his glasses down, then he flipped them up when he couldn't locate the ball, and then he flipped them down again, and he finally saw it. He's been a workhorse at shortstop, Uribe. The grass allowed Davis time to get to that ball, and Uribe is out number 3. Both pitchers following a similar pattern. 2 men on with 1 out in the first, a 1-2-3 second, and through 2 there's no score.
Somewhere there's got to be a cure for athlete's foot.
Step up to the mic.
Mike?
Micatin. It cured my athlete's foot. It's got something the others don't. Miconazole.
There's nothing more powerful.
Hey!
I'm giving away advice, not Micatin.
Say, what you got for my athlete's foot?
Step up to the mic.
Mike?
Micatin. It cures athlete's foot. There's even a deodorant Micatin.
Then I'll take the Micatin. To go.
Step up to the cure. Step up to the mic. Micatin. Look for new economy size powder.
I'm Gene Morbig, State Farm agent. Right now, millions of drivers 50 years of age and over are saving important money with a State Farm discount, just like my policyholders, the Bimas. And now, because Ralph and Nyla are over 50, they're saving important money with a State Farm discount. If you are 50 or over and you want great service and savings too, talk to a State Farm agent now.
And like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Get a snapper and get a quick start on spring.
Pack and sack will groom your lawn, ride first class till work is gone. It's a snap. Get a tractor for big power, trim it fast and save an hour. It's a snap. Edging is the final touch, cleaning up is not so much. It's a snap with a snapper.
Options like the gutter cleaning kit, Thatcherizer, 30-bushel bag and wagon, and pack and sack make spring cleanup a snap.
The snapper builds them all to last, get the job done really fast. It's a snap with a snapper.
Travel arranged through Continental, which 5 times each day offers Houston travelers the only nonstop service to San Francisco. Continental, working to be your choice.
Friday, August 11th, it's Travel Mug Night in the Astrodome, and the first 25,000 adults at the Astros-Reds game that night get travel mugs from Gatorade. For tickets, visit the Dome box office, Ticketron, or call 526-1709.
Well, the Reds posed all kinds of problems, as you know, for the Astros to begin this road trip, so they'll get a chance for a payback there in the Dome. Big crowd looking on as the Giants and Astros have made it through 2 without a score. Rick Rhoden's the leadoff man in the 3rd. The Astros, in fact, haven't put a run on the board in 14 innings in a row now. And it's Rhoden who will try to get something sparked. Good hitter, 2 hits and 17 at-bats this year, but without a chance to be in that rotation for very much time. There's ball 1 to him.
Rhoden is a .236 lifetime hitter with 9 homers and 75 RBIs.
1-1. Bob Knepper was traded December 8th, 1980, along with Chris Borges for Enos Cabell. That brought him to Houston. Rhoden lifts one for Matt Williams, who shades his eyes. He's lost the ball. It's well back into the stands anyway. Third basemen are having a difficult time seeing the ball in those pop-ups. 1 ball, 2 strikes. It's just such a bright day that sunglasses don't always do the trick.
If you're seated in the shade right now, you've probably got a coat on. But some of those who are in the sun don't even have shirts on.
Two balls, 2 strikes. It's an interesting matchup, both from the standpoint of Knepper having been with Houston for so long and the fact that both pitchers swing the bat very well. Uribe is waiting. 1 out. Knepper lost a game to the Giants earlier this year here at Candlestick. That's his only outing here this season. He pitched well, but the Giants won it 3-2, and in that game Knepper hit his 6th career home run off Don Robinson. He's the 13th pitcher to start a game for the Giants this year. Eric Yelding hit a fly ball to right leading off the game. Yelding takes ball 1. course, with the speed of Yelding, there's always a distinct possibility of a bunt. Two balls and no strikes. Tough to bunt that pitch with that location. Bob Knepper had just one win in his last 11 starts for the Astros, but quite often you've seen it happen. Just the change of uniforms and change of scenery can signal a different type player.
Because it's such a psychological thing. Winning and losing, when you haven't won for a long time, you get into a rut. Well, you move across country and put on a different uniform, and it gives you the feeling of a fresh start.
Yelding charges one for Kevin Mitchell and hit it all the way to the warning track, but Yelding hasn't been able to take advantage of his speed with the two fly balls. 2 outs.
Well, he really hit that ball well, because the way the wind is blowing, it's not going to carry too far to left field. He's not a power hitter anyway, but he really got a piece of that one.
Rafael Ramirez singled to right in the first on a check swing blooper. Looks at ball one. The Giants' earned run average here in their home ballpark is 2.13. On the road, it's 4.14. One ball and one strike. They'll play a 4-game series with Cincinnati next, and then they'll welcome Los Angeles to Candlestick for 3. 2 balls and a strike. The Astros moving into San Diego for 4 before returning for that homestand, beginning with the Cincinnati game next Friday. No score in the third. 2 outs, 2-1 the count.
Well, if you look at the Astros team earned run average, it looks pretty good right now at 355. But that includes only the pitchers that are currently on the staff. When you subtract Knepper's 113 innings of a 589 earned run average, that really brings it down.
Wind still showing different signs on the flagpole. 3 balls, 2 strikes. It seems every time we check the flags, they're blowing in a different direction. And you know the fielders are checking them just constantly. Ramirez draws the walk. That's the second walk for the Astros in the game. And Rafael, who's normally up there to hit, doesn't draw all that many walks. It's only his 16th of the year. Biggio drew that first base on balls on a 3-1 offering in the first. Cubs and Pirates are tied in the 10th at 4, and Cincinnati beat Atlanta 3-2. Phillies and Cardinals now in the top of the 10th. Well, the Cubs and Montreal have a deadlock atop the Eastern Division right now. Biggio looks at a strike, and now Don Zimmer's club showing signs of wearing pretty well and putting a lot of pressure on Montreal. The Dodgers have a 1-0 lead over San Diego. They're in the last of the third. Knepper checks Ramirez with a throw. The Astros have played well against left-handed pitching this year. They're 21-13 against left-handed starters. Biggio wanted a bunt, and that breaking ball came in with a little different look to it, so he took it. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The Astros and the Giants both have played better against left-handed starters than against right-handed. Giants with the overwhelming home advantage, and the Astros have been a good team on the road and a good team at home, but not a great team at home.
Nepper, the ball gets away from him, and he won't get anybody. He got the glove on it, but the ball dropped out of his glove, and Biggio reaches. Ramirez moving to second.
Well, now Davis will have another chance. He came up with men on first and second in the first inning and hit a fly ball out to center field. Nepper was wise here and not trying to make a throw there. He wasn't going to get Biggio and stood a chance of throwing it away.
It's a base hit for Craig, whose 8-game hitting streak ended yesterday. Glenn Davis hit the ball in the air to Brett Butler with 2 men on in the first. Taking ball 1.
Scorers here are pretty charitable with their base hits.
Yes. Davis is tied for 5th in the league with extra base hits, 43, 7th in slugging, 4th in total bases. 3 hits in his last 20 at-bats. Now wearing those tinted glasses. It's a foul ball for Matt Williams. The count 1 ball, 1 strike.
If Davis gets a hold of one and hits it as solidly as Yelding did, the wind will not stop it. You can see those glasses that he's wearing now. He has had trouble hitting in day games all year long and has now used them at different times of the day to see what effect they might have. Used them a lot in practice, and he thinks they're going to help.
Rafael Ramirez hit a homer off Don Robinson in the 6th inning Friday night. That's been the last extra base hit the Astros have had. One and 2 the count. Davis hit his home run Thursday in that 18-2 loss to Cincinnati. That's his last long ball.
Giants are playing him pretty much straight away here. Just a very slight pull.
He hits one past Uribe. It really fooled him. Now Ramirez will score. Biggio to third. The Astros lead 1-0.
Davis hit that ball right off the end of the bat, and it had such a wicked sideways spin. It was like hitting a screwball out there across the infield. Uribe broke one way, and the ball broke the other. The Nepper has not exactly been pounded here. A check swing by Ramirez. A ball that probably should have been scored an error by Biggio, and now this hit off the end of the bat by Davis, but the Astros get on the board first.
Well, they break that scoreless inning streak now at 14, and now Caminetti has a chance to make it a much bigger inning. He grounded out to Matt Williams in the first with a couple of men on. Looking at strike 1. These two teams won't see each other again until the 8th of September in the Dome when they play a 3-game series, and they have 3 more remaining here later in September. Caminetti hits one well, but Butler still drifting and catches up with it to end the top of the 3rd inning. The Astros get a run. 2 hits. No errors, and they leave 2. In the middle of the 3rd, it's 1-0 Houston.
What do you get when you team up America's finest video photographers with 40 local news stations and give them the assignment of capturing 24 hours in our country's life? You get One Day in America, a composite view of a typical winter's day in the United States. See how we live one day in an amazing variety of ways. Watch us be ourselves on One Day in America.
Monday at 8 on Channel 20.
Steak and ale on signs to avoid in restaurants. Signs like, "We hope you'll like your steak." Or, "Relax, it'll be okay." Or, "Trust us." Here's the sign to look for. The great steak, no mistake promise, only at Steak and Ale. It means your steak will be exactly the way you like, or we'll do whatever it takes to make sure it is. So to the wrong sign, say goodbye. The right sign is the legend in steak. Steak and Ale.
Nobody likes getting stuck with bad parts or shoddy workmanship when the car is worked on, but it happens. That's why it's important to go with a name you trust. And for brake steering and suspension, more people trust Brake Check. You see, Brake Check's been the leading brake, steering, and suspension specialist since 1968. That's all we do. And when we fix your car, it stays fixed. That's why we've got the strongest guarantee in the business.
Brake Check. Anything less could cost you more.
August 17th, the first 30,000 adults 21 and over at the Astros Pirates game get a Colt 45's cap from Bud Light.
Well, Larry Durker, the Astros will get their first look at Bruce Hurst tomorrow night. Jim DeShays and Hurst, a couple of 10-game winners, go in the opener of that series with the Padres, and you see the schedule here on 20 Vision for the next few games on the road.
All those games will be yours from San Diego, and then later in the month with the Pirates. That's a short road trip. In between, the Astros will be at home. The Reds come calling the 11th, 12th, and 13th over the weekend. On Monday, the Astros take a day off, and then the Pirates and Cubs come in before the Astros travel to Pittsburgh. At the end of the month, the Astros come back home for a short 3-game homestand with the Cardinals.
Bob Knepper hit his home run here, as we mentioned earlier. He's driven in 3 with a .226 average. And Roden throws ball 1 to him.
Knepper had become a better hitter this year by doing a couple of things. He's gotten down a lot lower into a crouch, and he's shortened up on the bat just a little bit.
Roden changed speeds on him a little bit. It's 1-1 now. Brett Butler to follow, and then Robbie Thompson will be next. 1-0 Astros in the third. The Giants have just been bashing their opponents. They've outscored them by 89 runs this year, while the Astros are even with runs scored and runs allowed. 2 balls and a strike. So they've had different types of clubs. The Astros in general have won a lot of close games, but they've had 3 one-run games with the Giants, and the Giants have captured all 3 of them. Knepper squirts 1 foul. It's 2 balls, 2 strikes. So this is becoming an obstacle. Art Howe mentioned as he chatted with Larry on Around the Bases that, well, we'll just have to come in and sweep 3 games in September if we lose this one. But you know that this is one the Astros particularly want to win today.
To get a little respect.
Three balls and 2 strikes. The Giants, of course, are hopeful of welcoming Dave Dravecky back to their rotation the next time around. Knepper puts one, and that'll be out of play for Caminetti. Still 3-2. So Hurst, Schulze, Whitson, and Harris for the Padres in the 4 games. The Astros seeing both of the first 2 pitchers for the first time this year, Hurst and Schulze, and Greg Harris has worked against them in relief, but he's now a starter. That'll be a different look. Knepper smacks one. Mark Davidson lets it get by him. Knepper will take the turn. He's going to second. Young didn't pick it up right away, and he's safe.
Just didn't quite get there. Had a pretty good jump on the ball, actually. A game of inches. Young bobbled the ball when he picked it up. And had he picked it up cleanly, he might have thrown Knepper out.
So Knepper gets his 5th double of the year. That's the Giants' second hit. And Butler, who's an excellent bunter, is up. Now Yelding comes in as Roden looked around at him. We'll see what the Astros plan to do in this situation. Butler grounded out to Yelding his first time up. Brett has 16 bunt hits, and he also has 9 sacrifices. Davidson obviously felt he could catch the ball, and that's why he made the big effort. But now the Giants are helped out by the fact that Nepper has reached second with nobody out. Bunt goes foul, and there's strike one.
And Nepper does not run well at all. So even without a force play at third, it will take a decent bunt to get him over. I wouldn't be surprised if they let Butler swing at this point, because even once you get him over, then it's going to take a base hit or a fairly deep sacrifice fly to get him in.
Bill Fahey's coaching Nepper with his lead as Ramirez tries to hold him closer. And Nepper was getting a break off the bag. Biggio came up ready to throw behind him just in case. 1-1 the count. Nepper trying to get that walking lead at second, which makes it so much easier to keep in motion when the ball is bunted. 20 bunt hits last year and 16 so far this year for Butler. Roden just barely got Butler, period, on the sacrifice from 1-3.
You have to be decisive when you pick this bunt up. You can't be thinking about which way you're going to go and take a look to third, because then it'll be too late. Roden played it well.
And you saw in the replay how Biggio pointed out to first base for Roden. And of course the catcher's always yelling, but on a day like this when the crowd can become a factor, might be an additional help just a point. The infield comes in.
You're looking for a strikeout here, and Thompson's a guy that will strike out a lot, but Roden is not a strikeout pitcher.
Here's ball one. Robbie singled into center field in the first inning. He's driven in 35. Very good for a number 2 hitter. Fahey relays the signs to him.
You just really want to get him out. If they score the run, well, then it's time. You let him get on base, and then you really got problems with Clark and Mitchell coming up.
Thompson does not have a sacrifice fly this year. 1-3-0 for the Astros, 0-2-0 for the Giants in the third. There's the bunt, the squeeze. Roden throws to the plate, not in time. It's a tie ball game. And Nepper scores a tying run after his double triggered the inning.
I wonder why Roden threw the ball home.
He had no chance.
But he had a good chance. In fact, he had Thompson at first base. He had time to set himself and then make a throw to first.
So Nepper came in, and Thompson reaches on a base hit, gets an RBI on a ball that traveled about 40 feet. Now it's ruled a sacrifice, not a base hit. That's what they call
choice,
it.
I guess.
Yes. So the sacrifice, but still gives him an RBI, and now the count 1-0 to Clark. Well, the out on Thompson would have been important with Clark coming up, a long ball hitter. Robbie has 9 steals now as he pilfered a base back in the first inning. Do you think that Roger Craig's managing changes with the fact that the Giants have again been winning lately, or would that have anything to do with the way he would manage in a game like this?
I think he's probably a little more aggressive at home because he got a big crowd behind him, which gets his players stirred up a little bit. It's a teamwork type of play, a squeeze play. Anytime you execute it, really fires the ball club up.
And it's a gamble because if Thompson doesn't get the bunt down, Nepper, of course, is an easy out. Two balls and no strikes to Clark, who drew an intentional pass back in the first inning. The Giants are hitting much better at home. That also parlays into their ERA situation. Much lower at home than on the road. They're hitting .263 at Candlestick, .247 away from it. It's 3 balls and no strikes. And now, presuming Clark would have a green light in this situation. Oh, must be careful.
And Kevin Mitchell waiting on deck. The first part of this Giants lineup is really tough. If you get by the first part, you've got a chance.
Young altering his course, and he caught up with it. Clark hit it to the deepest part. But Young, who gets such a good jump despite the tough conditions, ran down another one.
That's what you're supposed to do when you get the 3-0 hit sign. Get a good pitch to hit and hit it well. You can't hit it much better than that, but the wind knocked it down. And Young, who had the great jump, had time to circle a little bit, play the wind, and get it.
It just glided back as if a basketball player were going down for a long pass and had to adjust to it. Kevin Mitchell lined out to Glenn Davis in the first. Ball 1 on the pitch out.
Young has really saved a couple of runs in this series.
He sure has. He called that catch yesterday. He felt the best one he's made all year, and it was spectacular as he went diving and skidding across the warning track on the drive by Matt Williams. Now he has to come in. No, Yelding. Now he lost the ball and can't catch it. Runners are at first and third. Base hit from Mitchell. Well, he hit a line drive and Davis robbed him. This time he finds room to get a jam shot into right center.
Well, with Yelding going out and Young coming in, you've got about as much speed closing on that ball as you could possibly hope for.
Yelding could have caught it, but he just couldn't see it at the end. Still would have been a very tough play. Matt Williams grounded out to Caminetti with a couple of men on in the first.
Williams, a #1 draft by the Giants in June of '86. And he got #1 draft choice type tools. He's got power, he's got speed, good soft hands on the infield. First couple times up in the big leagues, he was not selective enough. The pitchers were outsmarting him, getting him to swing at a lot of bad pitches.
He's only 23. Rhoden makes a throw to first. Thompson with his bunt got the tying run in. It's 1-1 here in the third. The Giants bidding for more. Since Williams came back from Phoenix, he's hit .302. 2 balls and no strikes now with Sheridan on deck. Roden, of course, had the 5 scoreless innings in his last start against Cincinnati, but gave up the 7 hits. He was in some trouble, worked out of it. And with all the time he's missed, that is not too unexpected at all. Three balls and no strikes. Phillies got 3 in the top of the 10th. They lead the Cardinals 4-1 now. St. Louis batting in the bottom half. Williams got the green light on the 3-0 and fouled it back. So the Giants go ahead with Clark. They go ahead with Williams on those 3-0 offerings.
Roden threw a breaking ball. I guess he figured Williams was going to be swinging. He'd been pitching a very defensive game, though. Been behind most hitters, trying to hit corners, nibbling. It's the same way Nepper had pitched throughout most of the year with the Astros.
Foul ball. Good thing, too, because Caminetti would have had a difficult throw to make. 3-2 the count.
He would have had plenty of time, though. Williams never left the batter's box.
Caminetti made a play in the 5th inning Friday night on Williams. It was one of his best of the year. With 2 men on base, a diving stop just inside the line, got up and threw him out.
Well, now you've got a 3-2 count, and so Mitchell will be leaving with the pitch. Davis moves behind him at first base. Gives you a little more coverage on the right side.
And he struck out. Roden teased him with a breaking ball, and Williams flips the bat away, disgusted. Milo Hamilton set to join Larry for the middle innings here. The Giants tie it in the 3rd with a run. On 2 base hits with no errors, they strand 2, and through 3, it's a 1-1 ball game.
For the hope, for the heart, for the chance to do your part.
Retailers like me are doing our part to help fight muscular dystrophy. And you can too. With every Budweiser or Bud Light you buy through Labor Day, you'll help make a contribution. So come on, join the team.
For the love and for the dream, for the kids, join the team. Listen to the scissors cutting all around. Don't you love the sound of the price coming down? Don't you love the sound of the price coming down?
USDA Choice Boneless Beef Round Steak, $1.39 a pound. Sparkle paper towels, single rolls, 2 for $1. Limit 2 per person with $10 purchase or more. And Michigan blueberries, 5-pound box, $5.99.
Extra, extra! Kentucky Fried Chicken's new extra tasty, crispy, and a great deal. Millions cross the road to get it. 2 pieces of new extra tasty, crispy, mashed potatoes and gravy, and a hot biscuit, all for $1.99.
Tastier. Great chicken.
Extraordinary.
But hurry! This tantalizing offer can't last much longer. Extra, extra! The new extra tasty, crispy meal. Just $1.99 at Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Hey, kids, do you know what time it is? Well, you'll know the answer to that one on Saturday, August 12th, when the Astros take on the Reds. It's wristwatch day in the Dome. The first 15,000 kids 14 and under get wristwatches from Coca-Cola. So for tickets, you can call 526-1709 or stop by the Astrodome box office. There's a look at that wristwatch. It's a nice item. Hope to see you there. And there's a look at what has transpired so far. Nepper and Roden battling in a close game. Both have pitched out of trouble. Roden with a strikeout of Williams in the bottom of the 3rd inning. So the Astros in the 4th. We'll start with Hatcher. It'll be Hatcher, Davidson, and Young. They came up and went down in order in the 2nd inning. To tell you what they do this time, Here's Milo Hamilton.
All right, Larry, as we go to the fourth, Hatcher, who grounded to short his first time up, be followed by Davidson and Young. Final game of this 3-game series. The Astros were 1-2 in Cincy, 0-2 here. They'd like to get something going again before they head into San Diego. Ball high outside to Hatcher. Did not play in the first 2 games, and he has been less than effective against the Giants this year. There's a bouncer to the right of Thompson. Throws on, and it's one away. So Knepper, and the barometer you have on him, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 ground ball outs for him. Mark Davidson thrown out with the third baseman the first time up. Gerald Young has moved on deck. Jimmy DeShays is scheduled to pitch tomorrow night in the opener at San Diego. Some tenderness in the elbow might alter that. That hit his bat. That'll cost him a strike. Portugal says he will pitch.
Well, he threw today. That's a pretty good indication. If you can throw your stuff with something on it in between starts, then you should be able to make it. Question is, what will happen if he has to make some fielding plays in the next start? Because sometimes you can throw where you can't really run and cut.
And the pitch on the way to Davidson. Slow breaking pitch. And Scotty's scheduled to pitch one of the games at San Diego. But it's hard to find anybody who'll tell you they think that'll happen. They just think that hamstring may have bothered him enough yesterday that they might have to skip him. And if that's true, they're going to have to do some altering in their thinking.
You wonder if they would consider Goose Gossage, who was released by the Giants, because they've got Danny Darwin, who could start in the bullpen.
I asked Bill Wood that today on his radio show. That's a strike, 2-2. He said they have been talking along those lines. Gossage probably won't clear waivers till Tuesday or Wednesday.
That would be an odd set of circumstances, wouldn't it? Gossage released, the Giants signed him, or Knepper.
Line drive center, Butler on, and he did not hang on to it. He got there.
He was trying to hide it after he hit the ground. He turned his body sideways so the umpire couldn't see. And I think he was hoping he could get the ball in his glove and come up with it. What an effort. Oh, he lost his glove.
Now, if you pick up the glove and the ball's in it, it's not a catch, folks.
If you were to throw your glove at the ball to try to stop it, it would be a 3-base penalty.
All right, here's Young with Davidson at first. 4th hit for the Astros. They've out-hit the Giants 4-3.
Davidson not really a base stealer. He has stolen 1 since coming up.
Gerald Young 0 for 1 today, 1 for 8 in the series. Showing bunt, then letting it go low. Roden due up next. Each team scoring a run in the 3rd. We are now in the 4th. Astros trying to scratch here and get on the board some way. They have played 5 games at Candlestick this year, come up empty all 5 times, and 3 of those were Giant shutouts.
Knepper, when he was with the Giants previously, had shut out the Astros 3 times and was 6-3 with a .234 against them. But that's against an entirely different set of hitters.
And when he was a younger pitcher.
And a different type of pitcher. He was a power pitcher when he first came up. Fastball slider. Threw about 90 miles an hour.
1 ball and 1 strike. Knepper working for the Giants against Rick Roden here today. A ball and a strike with Davidson at first and 1 down. Right field playable by Sheridan. 2 down. So Rick Roden will be the batter. He'd like to return the compliment to Nepper.
He's capable.
So Nepper waiting for Roden to get in there with Davidson at first base. Well, the big crowd they kept talking about all week has arrived today, hasn't it?
Got the place packed.
They're here for their mother's cookies, baseball, trading cards. Davidson singled. He's at first. 2 down. Thompson to his left. Second to first takes care of Roden. Davidson singled. He's left on. Takes us into the middle of the 4th inning on 20 Vision from Candlestick. We're involved in a 1-1 game.
So what are you doing back here? You had to come back here from some of my pie?
Yeah, that too.
What, there's another reason why you're back?
I got a small crack in my radiator.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
That's nothing to worry about. I just had to come over and pick up another check.
They just gave it to you?
Right here.
Good.
Pie's good, too.
You're so nice, I don't even know what to say. You gonna come back soon?
If you've had an accident and there's hidden damage, you're still covered. Another reason you're in good hands with Allstate, a member of the Sears Financial Network.
Every new Chevrolet Corsica is protected by a 3-year, 50,000-mile bumper-to-bumper plus warranty. Because we know when you've got a family, you don't need anything else to worry about.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
Not only has the new fuel-injected Chevrolet Corsica LT helped bring down the cost of performance, it's also been designed to handle something many sports sedans can't. Your family.
Don't miss Nostalgia Days in the Dome. August 16th is Colt 45's trading cards to the first 15,000 kids 14 and under, courtesy of the U.S. Forest Service. August 17th is Colt 45's Cap Night for the first 30,000 adults 21 and over, sponsored by Bud Light. Then August 19th is the Equitable Old Timers Game, followed by Orange Cap Day on the 20th for the first 15,000 kids. For tickets, call 526-1709.
Let's raise the roof right off the dome.
Party hardy with Hulk Hogan, the great sounds of Guy, and jokester Jonathan Prince on the Arsenio Hall Weekend Jam.
Sunday night at 10 on Channel 20.
20 Vision and the Southwest Conference team up again this fall, starting with the Jack Pardee Show at 11:30, immediately followed by the Southwest Conference Game of the Week. Join us Saturdays, beginning in September, for all the action.
Bottom of the 4th as Sheridan steps in. He flied to left his first time. He'll be followed by Manwaring and then Uribe. Milo Hamilton and Larry Durker with the middle of this one on 20 Vision. With the Jeff Montoni crew. A delightful and beautiful baseball day here. Big crowd. Top 2 teams in the West battling. And Roden facing Sheridan. Ball 1. Their hits belong to Thompson in the first. Nepper, a leadoff double in the third. He eventually came on to score the tying run. And Mitchell, a pop fly single lost in the sun by Yelding in the third. Sinking liner, he's got to play it on to first, and he does. So
Yelding has certainly not embarrassed himself in the field this year. We heard that he had made the transition from outfield to infield with the problem that he'd been a little erratic, but we haven't seen that. He got soft hands and a strong arm.
Manwaring will be the batter. Manwaring flied to right, his first time up. Moving on deck is Uribe. It's the Giant 4th at Candlestick. 1-1 tie. Astros have out hit him 4-3. Nobody's made an error. Strike to Manwaring. Boy, with the lopsided stats they have when he catches. Of course, you never know all the other circumstances. Maybe the pitching was great, or maybe they got a lot of clutch hitting or scored a lot of runs, but
certainly they've got an overwhelming winning record when he's catching, but You could assume his defense is a little bit better than Kennedy's, but his hitting hasn't been as good.
Here's the 1-1. Bouncer Yelding, can he throw him out? No, because the throw is wild, and Manwaring will go to second base.
There's the erratic throw. I'm not sure that he had time to set himself and throw. He didn't think he did, that's for sure. Well, Manwaring gets an extra base out of it.
It'll be a hit and an E4. He's way out behind second. Throwing on the run and across his body.
Well, you've got to battle the wind and also the
breaking ball to Uribe, ball 1.
The fact that he hasn't played second base that much. He's been playing shortstop and second base while taking infield, but that's an instinctive play. When you're facing the other way, you have to almost know where first base is without looking.
Runner at second on the hit and the error. And the pitch 2-0 to Uribe, and Nepper due up next. Roden trying to keep it where it is, a 1-1 tie. The hits are now even at 4. Right fielder should have a play here, and he does. Runner tagging at second. Manwaring will head for third, and he'll make it. So Uribe flies out to Mark Davidson in right. And Nepper now with a runner at third. Nepper with a leg double in the third inning. Hit a humpback liner that dropped in front of Davidson and rolled behind him, and Nepper, looking right at that play, saw a chance to go for 2 and made it. So Roden will prefer the full windup here with the runner at third. He went around. That's a swinging strike. What was your preference?
If I had any inkling that they might try a squeeze play or there was a fast runner who might try to steal, I'd pitch from a stretch. If I thought there was no chance of either one of those things, I would pitch from a windup.
No balls, 1 strike. Breaking ball up, and it's 1-1 to Nepper.
You have to have confidence that you can get people out from the stretch. And so you pitch from that position just to take the worry off of your mind that anything's going to be up.
A ball and a strike. Good smother of that one. Boy, Biggio, just like he did in the last inning, blocked some balls in the dirt and kept a go-ahead run from coming home. It's 2 balls and a strike to Nepper. Nepper was having a good year with the bat while he was still with the Astros. He had 7 hits, 1 homer, 3 RBIs. Hit the home run here. Hit it off Don Robinson. 2 balls and a strike. Roden just gives Manwaring a token look at third. Little pop foul coming back out of play. Halfway up to the mezzanine. And it's 2-2. Roden got a big strikeout on Matt Williams with runners at first and third in the third to retire them and keep it at a tie. Needs an out here with Manwaring at third, 2 down, and Butler, a pesky little leadoff hitter, on deck. Two-two to Nepper. That'll fill it.
Pitching to Nepper like he's Babe Ruth.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Runner at third. 2 down, payoff. He walks Nepper. Second walk given up by Roden. The other was intentional to Clark back in the first. Art Howe not too thrilled with that. Butler in the first inning bounced out. Third inning, a 1-3 sacrifice. Then Thompson followed with a suicide and got Nepper home to tie it. Now with runners at first and third, 2 down, Butler facing Roden. Roger Craig, who loves that squeeze. And there's a shot to short. Cammy will flip to Yelding. Force on Nepper. 6-4 on the force. And they leave a couple. We played through 4. Tough and tight in the final between the two teams at the top of the West. On 20 Vision, it's 1-1.
For reaching out, for reaching high, for pushing hard each time you try, for taking time, for taking pride, for showing what you got inside, for the smile that's part of you, for stepping in, for coming through this buzz for you, for standing tall and staying true, giving your all, for coming through this buzz for you.
Coming through for you. Beechwood Age, for the taste so crisp, so clean, so refreshing. It's the king of beers.
For coming through this buzz for you. This buzz for you. Let's raise the roof. We're never gonna stop. The Astros are the team. We give it all we got. So come on, everybody. Burn in the air. There is nothing like really being there. Let's raise the roof. We're never gonna stop. The Astros are the team. We give it all we got. Come on, everybody. Let's bring the runners home. Let's raise the roof right off the dome.
In a jam-packed Candlestick, we're ready to go to the 5th, and it's Goodies home run sweepstakes worth $900. And David Hooper of Conroe is our candidate at home. And Yelding will be leading it off, followed by Ramirez and then Biggio. So David Hooper in Conroe. Yelding flirted with long ball the last time, showed warning track power, flied out to Mitchell in left. There's the way it's happened so far on 20 Vision. And speaking of 20 Vision, we go to San Diego, and 20 Vision's right there with us, Wrangler.
All 4 games, 3 night games, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and an afternoon affair on Thursday. Well, let's see what Nepper's done this year. He's given up 139 hits, including the 4 singles this afternoon. 12 of those hits have been home runs. Although he has had a tough year overall, he has not been hurt that much by the long ball. Been more the singles and the walks.
So Nepper involved in the 1-1 game. We'll look at Yelding, who is 0 for 2. He's flied to right and flied to left. Ramirez has moved on deck already. Then it'll be Biggio. You'd like to set a table for Davis and Caminetti here and break the tie. Give Roden something to work with. Yelding playing second base today. Just trying to let Doran back off, and there's a little tapper foul off to the right. Boy, it's a funny game, isn't it? Doran was having that real hot spell. He was a player of the month in May. He remember we were talking about when we were home, Larry, about how he and Art had the extra session looking at the old videotapes, thought they'd found something. Came out the very next day, first time up, got a hit and an RBI, hit a couple more balls well in the game, and it lasted only the 1 game. And that's a bat you sorely need. There's a high pop right side. Thompson and Clark, and the ball drops. So it happens to both sides here today.
Doesn't happen to them very often, but it certainly did that time, and you can't say there was a lack of effort. Both of those infielders are excellent glove men, and both were battling as hard as they could.
That's a lost in the sun single. Well, David Hooper, he didn't jack one out for you, but he got on for the club. Armando Romero from Galveston is our goodies candidate now, with Ramirez stepping in. Rafi tattooed one about 30 feet over the left center field power alley sign on Friday night here. Throw over, not close.
Yelding is always a threat to steal, but Manwaring really throws well.
Nepper will throw over there a lot ordinarily, won't he? Didn't hear, and that's a strike to Ramirez. Rafi had a base hit in the first, walked in the third, and scored on a Glenn Davis single. No balls and a strike. Ramirez the batter. Biggio on deck.
Yelding got a huge lead.
Well, that's a full stride out on an AstroTurf. If it were pitch out, nothing doing. Boy, Roger Craig, who probably calls more of those than anybody, when he saw that lead by Yelding, he had to be flashing it to Manwaring.
They might pitch out again with a 1-1 count.
Nepper looking. Nothing doing, and he gets the breaking ball on the outside corner, and it is 1-2 to Rafael Ramirez. Rafi with his single in the first upped his current batting streak to 7. That's the only one on the club currently. Caminetti had an 8 broken here Friday, and Biggio had an 8 broken here yesterday. So Rafi with 7, the only one that's current and climbing. Whoa, man, Clark had to lean out over to get that one. One ball and 2 strikes. Long look by Nepper, runner going. The throw down will be into center field. Yelding, he'll get up and scamper to third, and he's belly flopped in there safely. Stolen base, E2.
Fourth error of the year on Manwaring. So Ramirez strikes out, but the Astros move a runner 2 bases. And now have a chance to take the lead. I thought I said Manwaring threw well. Did you say that?
No, you did, but I would have backed you up on it because he's shown us all year that he can throw. So now it'll be up to Biggio.
Infield is in. Well, if anybody would know how Nepper likes to work a hitter, it would be Biggio. He's caught him enough games this year.
Our candidate now in the goodies inning, Kimber Miller. That's K-I-M-B-E-R, Kimber Miller from Huntsville, Texas. And here's a guy who's shown some surprising power in his first full year in the big leagues. Infield up tight. Yelding third. Biggio trying to get him home to reclaim the lead. Astros got a run in the third, but the Giants quickly tied it in the bottom of the third.
Well, Matt Galani is flashing some signs and now talking to Yelding. I wonder if the Astros would pull the bunt play.
Biggio has shown he's a pretty good bunter. But made no offer there and takes a strike. Sometimes that's a deke, though. Biggio walked in the first, singled in the third. You've got great speed at third, Yelding. Good bunter in the batter's box.
Usually, though, I think you try a squeeze when you think you might have trouble hitting again.
Smash foul.
In Knepper's case, the strikeout of Ramirez was his first of the ball game. And you got Biggio, who's been one of your better hitters up there. I think you'd probably figure that he's going to make some kind of contact, and with the infield in and Yelding's speed, a lot of things would get him home.
No balls and 2 strikes.
And if you try a squeeze and it doesn't work, now you don't have the runner on third. Well, Davis is on deck.
Yep. I think most of the stats here would say don't expect it. They don't either now because they backed Williams, the third baseman, back at least 5 or 6 steps even with the bag instead of being well up in front of it.
I was surprised when Thompson squeezed. Well, they had Clark and Mitchell coming up next.
I said the same thing on radio. That while Craig likes it, he fooled me there. That pitch comes in and almost hit Biggio. But he pays it for a strike because it hit the bat. Yelding's first reaction, of course, not knowing that, seeing the ball skip away, was racing home, but he's retreated to third. But I was right there with you, even though we were booths apart at the time. Craig surprised me calling for the squeeze there.
I think they surprised everyone. And with Knepper running, I wonder if he got that sign from the third base coach or whether he came over and told him to go.
Kimber Miller, our candidate at home in the goodies inning from Huntsville. Strikes out Biggio. Well, let's see if Glenn Davis can give Biggio a pick-me-up. Knepper doesn't strike out anybody all day and then strikes out Ramirez and Biggio.
Swung over it. He apparently had that good sinking action on the pitch. It was a little off the corner, right where he wanted it. Once you get 2 strikes in the count, a hitter has to swing at that pitch.
Over in San Antonio, we're calling out the name of D.M. Carter. Our leading home run hitter is up here. And if he hits one, D.M. Carter, you're going to collect 900 in the goodies home run jackpot inning. Davis got the run home in the third with a base hit. Strike 1. Yelding started the inning with the benefit of a pop fly lost in the sun between Clark and Thompson. He stole second, went to third on the throwing error by Manwaring. Has had to stay there with Ramirez fanning and Biggio fanning. 0-1-1. So Bob Knepper. There are the new. You probably talked about the glasses, haven't you?
Yes, we have.
Then I'll let the picture show it and not amplify that. A ball and a strike. 1-2 to Davis.
That's way out in front of those pitches. Well, this is what Art Howe warned against when we talked to him before the game. If you've got to wait on Knepper, you can't try to pull the ball. Got to hit him straight away. He can't throw the ball by you.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Runner at third. Glenn Davis trying to get a go-ahead run home. Strike 3 called. Yelding left at third. Middle of the 5th. No winners in our goodies home run inning. There'll be another one tomorrow from San Diego. Knepper showing emotion. And we're still tied 1-1 on 20 Vision.
A deadly nuclear accident, a corporate cover-up, and a witness, a dedicated scientist who could blow the lid off.
You've got radioactive waste on your hands and you're trying to deep six it. I want him dead.
A man in harm's way. Stephen Collins and Bo Svensson wage war over the secrets of Choke Canyon.
Thursday at 8 on Channel 20.
Over the past few years, a battalion of strangely equipped individuals has been roving the American workplace. testing the air for substances that shouldn't be there, things that might make people sick, and insurance premiums skyrocket. Now, some find Aetna's approach a little unexpected.
Sorry, excuse me?
But when was the last time your insurance company did anything more surprising than mail you a bill?
Eagle has gone mad. Gene Peterson here to tell you about Eagle's Summer Madness Sale. The heat's made us slash prices on every suit and sport coat in our huge inventory. Wool blend suits incredible at $88. Our top-of-the-line famous label suits priced at $199.90, none higher. Thousands of dress shirts and ties half off and more, including 100% cotton pinpoint Oxford shirts, $19. Say no to high menswear prices. Save during Eagle's Summer Madness Sale.
If you're 60 or over or active in the military, you can get $3 off reserve seats when the Astros play the Reds August 13th.
Let's see Glenn's reaction when he looks at strike three called with a go-ahead run at third. Now let's see what happens on the mound. Nepper turns into a jumping jack.
Be nice if he'd have shown that much emotion when he was pitching in the Astros uniform.
Foul back. Well, he said before the game, this is the most important thing that's happened to him in baseball since the '86 playoffs. This is Thompson. He's singled, stolen a base, suicide squeeze successful to get their run home. A ball and a strike to him here as Roden works in a 1-1 game. A ball and a strike. Thompson the batter. Clark on deck, then it'll be Mitchell. Popped into shallow center. Ramirez out. Yelding out. Young's play to make. Young gets it.
The ball hit that high into the air, and the crowd is anticipating that it might be dropped, and I don't blame them. That's the same thing everyone's thinking.
This place is Adventureland today. It was Young's play to make, but anything that goes up shallow, your middle infielders go right out. But Young called for it. Now they'll put the full shift on the right side against Clark. 3 infielders on the first base side of second. There they are. Caminetti's the only infielder on the other side, and he's a little less than halfway. 1 out, nobody on. Almost took his belt buckle off. He walked intentionally in the first. Third inning, got a base on, got a fly out to center. This will get your attention.
A little further in than even Roden wanted it, I think, but I believe that when you're pitching to Clark, if you're going to come inside, you need to come in off the corner.
2 balls and no strikes. Mitchell on deck. Now he's behind him 3-0. Score tied, a run apiece. Astros had a chance to go in front in the top of the inning. Arthouse Ball Club needs a pick-me-up. They've lost 4 in a row since Roden beat the Reds first night out at Cincy. That's in there, 3-1. 4 games to follow in this trip in San Diego. We'll be home Friday night with the Reds. 3 balls, 1 strike. Fouled out of play. There's the brain trust. Man in the dark glasses, Les Moss. Matt Galante leading forward. Speaking of coaches, Phil Garner not with us today. Some of you tuning in late. He's in the hospital. Went there about 6 o'clock this morning. He knew what was wrong. He's had a couple of kidney stone attacks.
Now he's had another one.
Hoping that he'll be able to join us tomorrow in San Diego. They're going to keep him overnight here in the hospital. So we're trying to win one for the scrapper. 3-2. Foul down the left side. Clark batting with nobody on and one away as he hits in the 5th inning. Astros 1-5-1, Giants 1-4-1. Another payoff due from Roden to Will Clark. Still 3-2.
Well, to swing at a bad pitch, he doesn't do that very often. Of course, Clark said that when the shift is on, he looks for the ball inside. The shift is on, but Roden's pitching him away.
And the only man playing him over that way is the left fielder Hatcher. Everybody else is way around to the right field line. 3-2. Another foul out of play.
Why is it that the guys that hit 320 and 330, when they pop the ball up, it so often goes off into the stands instead of staying on the field for someone to catch it?
Well, you answered your own question before you asked the question.
That's why they hit 320 and 330.
That's right. This game is untied. His second home run of the series, his 5th home run this year against Houston.
Threw him a pitch that he could pull into that shift, and once again he pulled it over the shift. Roden tried to trick him with a breaking ball, and it didn't fool him at all.
Clark hadn't been in the big leagues 5 years yet, and that's his 20th home run against Houston. He now has 18 homers and 80 runs batted in. 5 of the homers and a dozen of the RBIs are against the Astros. Fouled off by Mitchell. For Roden, it's his 3rd gopher ball in 51 innings.
Giants have Jeff Brantley throwing in the bullpen. I don't know if they're hoping to get to Knepper's spot in the order, or if they think that Knepper's done enough.
Mitchell's lined to first and single today. Will Clark lived up to the billing and thrilled the big crowd at the stick, asking for an appeal, no swing, says first base umpire Joe West. 2 balls and a strike to Mitchell. Matt Williams on deck. Clark just kept fouling them off. Then slugged one out of here, and it's 2-1 San Francisco. Three and 1.
There's Brantley.
And Norm Sherry, the pitching coach, who normally sits in the dugout with Roger Craig, is now trotting down to the bullpen. He walks Mitchell. 3rd walk for Roden. Now they have to look at Matt Williams, who's bounced out and struck out. And Les Moss going to come out. Roden got the first man, Thompson, to fly out to shallow center. Then Clark put them ahead for the first time with his homer. Mitchell has walked. And Les Moss checking on Roden here. The Giants have hit 7 home runs off Houston pitching this year, and Will Clark has 5 of the 7. Maldonado 1, Butler 1 to reach the 7 total. They've done a job on Mitchell, but they just haven't been able to contain Clark. This is our 12th game of the year with San Francisco. Clark now has 15 hits in 37 at-bats. That's over 400. 12 RBIs and 5 dingers.
About time to come up with a new idea for how to pitch him and how to play him.
And the guy who has more homers and RBIs than him against the league, Mitchell, they've limited him to 7 hits in 37 at-bats. Runner going, throw down, will nail him.
Good quick tag by Yelding. And not a bad throw by Biggio.
We're going to get another look.
It's like it must have been a hit and run, but there's no way you're going to hit that pitch. Well, Mitchell is caught for the 3rd time. He's only been successful twice.
Well, you're right about the quick tag by Yelding. He really brought it down. That was the difference. 0-2 to Matt Williams. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Second Giant to be caught stealing in this series. What in the heck was that?
That was a very, very, very slow curve.
Is that with an olive or an onion? A ball and 2 strikes. Boy, that didn't miss by much. 2-2. We go to San Diego right after the game, and they're tied with the Dodgers at L.A. 1-1 in the bottom of the 6th. Rodin's 2-2 to Williams. He had him 0-2. Tried outside twice and missed, and a breaking ball in the dirt. He's now filled it. Sheridan would be next. Giants have gone on top for the first time today on the homer by Clark. Fouling it off, holding it at 3-2. Astros playing in Candlestick for the 6th time this year. And the Giants with the lead now, trying to make it a sweep of those 2-3 game series. There's time to go back and get them, but you got to start swinging the bats better.
The Astros know they can beat this club. They've beaten them 4 out of 6 at home.
Look at a nice pick by Rodin. Kept that ball from going up the middle, throws him out. Side retired, but they get a run on a long home run to right center by Clark. And at the end of 5 on 20 Vision, 2-1 San Francisco.
The lights on these cars are running on battery power alone. And in the end, only one, the car with the new Die Hard battery, our most powerful ever, is able to start. Great low prices every day, Die Hard power. That's your money's worth and a whole lot more.
Road Handler Treadlocks. Test them for 1,000 miles. If you don't agree they're the toughest tires you've ever owned, Sears will buy them back. Great low prices every day. Road Handler Tough. That's your money's worth and a whole lot more.
What's the #1 sandwich maker up to? Designing a new Subway sub?
No, I'm planning a Subway sale, and you better start baking.
Hot bread coming through.
Stop that double pack. The Subway Super Subs.
Try your favorite Subway subs as a super sub. Get twice the meat and a free Sub Chaser squeeze bottle when purchased with a 32-ounce drink.
It's hot. It's summer cash from your Chevy First Team dealers. $500 cash or free automatic on full-size pickups. $750 cash on S10 pickups. $750 on S10 Blazers. $500 on vans and Astro vans. Practically every truck Chevy makes now comes with a factory rebate in cash direct to you from Chevrolet. Or get 2.9% financing for 2 years. Summer cash from Chevy. It's now, and it's for you at your Chevy First Team dealers.
Here's an easy way to get your Astros tickets in advance, and there's no convenience charge. Visit the Techstar Astros mobile ticket van. Tomorrow the van will be at the Fiesta store at Bel Air and Highway 6 from 12 until 6.
And we're going to the 6th. Caminetti, Hatcher, and Davidson. They'll all be batting from the right side against the left-hander Nepper. Nepper leading for the first time on the home run by his first baseman, Will Clark.
Brantley has finished throwing. Apparently, the Giants were just getting him some work. They've got Lefferts and Bedrosian, and they would probably go to those two guys from this point forward. So anyone else that wants work might as well get it in now.
But the thing that threw me on it was the fact that Norm Sherry went down there to watch him.
Oh, and he was really working out. You thought that he was going to come into the ball game.
All right, here's Caminetti trying to start something. He hadn't had a hit in this series. He's 0 for 8. 1 ball and no strikes. Nepper pitched his way out of a jam in the 5th.
Struck out the side to get out of it.
Struck out the last 2 with a runner at third base. Line down the left side. That'll be an extra base. Chasing it toward the corner is Mitchell. Caminetti gets his first hit of the series, a stand-up double. Tying run in scoring position with nobody out. And Caminetti, who leads the club in doubles, gets his 23rd of the year. Now is hit safely in 9 of his last 11.
Now Caminetti is limping a little bit going into second base. He's still been playing with that tender hamstring. The Astros are on the brink of some injury problems,
especially in their starting pitching. This is Hatcher. That's off the glove, and it ricochets into shallow right. It's going to bring Caminetti home, and we're tied at 2. Clark tipped that ball just enough with his big first baseman's claw to make it roll behind Thompson, who was crisscrossing behind him. And Hatcher will be safe, and a run is in. We're tied at 2. Now watch what happens with the reaction of the ball when Clark goes far to his right.
The Astros really get a break here. Hatcher was on the verge of doing his job, which was to move the runner to third base. And the deflection got the Astros an extra base.
It goes as a base hit and a run batted in. We're tied at 2. Davidson, the batter, is going to bunt. Let it go by, and it's ball 1. So they strike back with the tying run quickly, just as the Giants did in the 3rd inning.
And Brantley's right back out there again.
So now I think we are convinced that it's not just him throwing to a mitt. Davidson 1 for 2, had a hit in the 4th inning.
Well, I think that the Giants could get from the 6th to the 9th with Lefferts and Bedrosian, because Lefferts can pitch to 3 or 4 innings. But they probably would bring in another relief pitcher in a tie game or a game in which they were behind. Well, now that it's tied, that changes their thinking.
Bunts it. Nepper looks, throws from his knees, throws to Thompson, nips Davidson at first, but Davidson did his job, got Hatcher into scoring position. It's a 1-4 sack.
In fact, Davidson just about got that bunt into a perfect spot. If he'd have bunted it just a little bit harder, he'd have had a base hit. In fact, there was nobody there. The shortstop was covering. Hatcher might have gone all the way to third. So
Nepper went over Toward the third base line did his Lautrec.
What?
Threw him out from his knees. Whatever that guy's name was. Is that right, Jeff? And Roger Craig's coming out. You're looking at me like you know, and Montoni's got to tell me.
I know what you were talking about.
So Roger Craig taking the long walk. Boy, when he calls a meeting, it's a board meeting. Look at that. Our bullpen has started to work. There's Dr. Death, Danny Darwin. I suppose it would have been easier if I'd have said Jose Ferrar. He played the part, didn't he?
We don't know.
Yes, he did. 1 ball and no strikes. Young, the batter. Hatcher, good speed at second, 1 out. Strike to the G-man. He's 0 for 2 today. Flied out twice to right field. Roden, good hitting pitcher on deck. So there's the Hatch carrying the hopes of coming home and getting the lead back. Both bullpens are busy. 6th inning. 2-2 tie. Sinker dropping low. 2-1 now to Gerald Young.
Hatcher doing a jitterbug out there, trying to shake Nepper up.
Astros 2-7-1, Giants 2-5-1. RBIs by Glenn Davis and Hatcher. Look at that play by Williams. Now he's got Hatcher caught and going to run him back, and Thompson will tag him out. Matt Williams made a great reaction to get that ball, and Hatcher for the 2nd time on this trip, evidently thinking the ball was going to go through.
Wanted to get the good jump and score. Young hit it well. And like you said, the reaction was there.
So it'll be 5-4, and Young's at first and a fielder's choice. They work on him. Roden's the batter. He's 0 for 2. Bounced out twice, once to short and once to second. So the tying run is no longer in scoring position. Young, fast man, first base. Pitch out, nothing doing.
The Astros might let Young run in this situation, and Roger Craig certainly thought so. And the reason being that they've got Darwin warming up, probably ready. Normally, you wouldn't want to run and then have to have your pitcher lead off the next inning if you get caught. But they might pinch hit anyway.
Young going. Fly ball left field. Mitchell's there. Side retired, and the Astros have to settle for the 1 run that tied it. 1 run on 2 hits. Hatcher getting Caminetti home. 1 man left. Middle of the 6th inning on 20 Vision from Candlestick. 2-2.
McDonald's goes bananas, and you will too, over our delicious new Sunday splits for just 99 cents, man. We split a luscious banana and put a cool and creamy sundae on top. Then ladle on your choice of hot fudge, hot caramel, or strawberry flavored toppings, and crown it with whipped cream, chopped nuts, and a juicy cherry. Delicious, and only 99 cents. McDonald's has gone bananas with Sunday splits, but you better get yours quick, man, before these new Sundays split.
When you really want to get into the game, get Tengen RBI Baseball. The only video game licensed by the Major League Baseball Players Association for your Nintendo. It's you and the pros. Throw Roger Clemens heater. Flash Vince Coleman the steal sign. Let Gibson swing for the fences. It's going! RBI Baseball. The one the pros pitch. Now available at Farmore.
What?
Are you having an affair?
Not this week.
Then what's with the new attitude? You think you're 16?
18.
What is it?
It's you.
I'm serious.
So am I.
New Thrive makes thinning hair look thicker and fuller. But it's not just what it does for your hair.
How serious?
It's what it does for your head.
August 20th, the first 15,000 kids 14 and under at the Astros Cubs game get an orange Astros cap. For tickets, call 526-1709.
Hey fans, how about a picnic in the park? The Astros now offer boxed lunches when you bring a group of 30 or more to the Astrodome. Make a day of it with exciting baseball, great food, and big league fun. For information, call 799-9567. Got some group discount dates coming up, too. Call that number and you can find out all about it.
All right, here we go to the bottom of the sixth. Milo Hamilton and Larry Dierker on 20 Vision from Candlestick. 2-2 ball game. Sheridan's 0 for 2 today, leading off in the sixth against Roden. On deck hitter is Manwaring, and then it'll be Uribe. Sheridan's 3 for 8 in the series. 1 ball and no strikes. Next stop, San Diego. Stop after that, we come home to face the Reds, the Pirates, and the Cubs. Ball 2. Boy, a lot of things going on in that homestand. Giveaways as well as exciting baseball, an old-timers game on the 19th. Three balls and no strikes. Old-time Astros and Colt 45s and Cubs. That'll be the 19th. That old-timers game will be at 6 o'clock, by the way. He walks him on 4 pitches. 4 walks for Roden.
Yeah, the 11th is the drinking mug night, first 25,000 adults. The 12th is the wristwatch day, first 15,000 youngsters 14 and under.
Got a Colt 45 cap day in there, too.
That's on August 17th. Colt 45's team cards, first 25,000 fans. That's on the 16th. First 30,000 adults on the Colt 45's cap. And then the old-timers game on the 19th.
So that's what we're talking about. Big homestand starts next Friday night in the Dome. Manwaring the batter. And he bunts it foul on the right side.
Going to try to make something out of this road trip. The Astros came in to San Francisco just 1 game behind the Giants. If they leave 2 games behind, it really won't seem that bad. If you leave 4 games behind, well, it's got to be very disappointing. It's not the end of the season or the end of the world, but it's certainly something that you'd have to try to regroup from in San Diego, where things have been tough to begin with, and you got Bruce Hurst tomorrow night.
Not close. Our bullpen busy with Augusto, the lefty, and Darwin, the righty. Also, San Diego were to win their game today, then they're going to start getting ideas. Bunting it foul again.
That's a good pitch on a bunt. And a lot of pitchers don't use it very often. But if you throw a slider, a pitch that will break away from a right-handed batter, he's trying to put the bunt down the first baseline. Then when the ball slides out a little bit, it redirects the ball into foul territory.
Montreal's shown a little sliding, and they're in a 1-1 game with the Mets in the 10th inning. The Padres and Dodgers are now 2-2 in the 7th at LA. Here it's 2-2 Astros Giants. Working on Sheridan again. You've got an 0-2 count on Kurt Manwaring. Art Howe hoping his ball club can break out of it here today. There's a bunt on the 0-2, and Roden looked, realized he didn't have a play at second, and Manwaring, after fouling off a couple, puts it down on an 0-2.
Well, Sheridan's got good speed. Tried to throw him that slider again, but he got it up and right down the middle of the plate. So it doesn't take a great bunt to get a guy like Sheridan over.
Amazing thing about that is where that pitch was that he didn't pop it up. But he
did a good job of staying on top of it.
Yeah, and he deadened it. So here is Uribe 0 for 2. Runner, second base, 1 out. Bounce to first, fly to right. Strike 1. And with Nepper due, Oberkfell is already on deck, and their bullpen is busy. Both bullpens are working now. That time of the game, it's that kind of a game, and with two contenders battling. Roden wanted the call on the breaking pitch, didn't get it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Righty-lefty combination in both bullpens. Runner at second base, Sheridan, 1 out. Uribe the batter, and Oberkfell, who has been a tough out for Astro pitchers, is on deck. 2 balls and a strike. Sheridan, second base, standing right on the base at the moment. Uribe the batter. He's 0 for 2 today. He's 1 for 7 in the series. 2 balls and a strike. Ramirez ducking in behind the runner. There's an off-speed pitch.
And a beauty.
And was it ever. 2-2. They fooled, and then one hand comes off the bat. Oberkfell on deck. A 2-2 tie and a 2-2 count. Three and 2. Switch hitting shortstop Uribe back up in there with a full count. Runner at second, 1 down. Popped it on the right side. Now Yelding's looking. Is he going to be able to catch it? Oh my goodness. This is one of those days, folks.
It almost looked like a decoy. Like Yelding was going to pretend that he couldn't see it and maybe try to catch Sheridan off the bag.
They had to use their gloves. See Glenn Davis going over. He's shielding his eyes with his big first baseman's claw. Now Oberkfell's going to be called back, and Maldonado. So Yelding's saying, boy, I get a chance to start today with this kind of a sky, and boy, it is tough. You'd like a little fleecy cloud or two up there on a kind of a day, but boy, there isn't one in sight. I have no way of knowing what Maldonado will do in this role. But after watching Oberkfell come off the bench against us over the years,
I'm glad to see Maldonado. But it may be that they want to save Oberkfell. At any rate, we're going to see Maldonado. Maybe they were concerned that the Astros might walk Oberkfell and they would lose him as a potential pinch hitter.
Art directing Glenn Davis a little bit. He wanted him to play a little farther off the line, so he takes about a couple of full steps to his right. Line drive left, Hatcher there, and Roden gets out of the jam. Maldonado hit the ball right on the nose, but right at the left fielder. So that has taken us through 6. Milo Hamilton going to give way here. The old Wrangler will be joined by Bill Brown. 20 Vision has it for you right there. 2-2.
The taste of Bud Dry. It comes on strong. Then it's gone. Brewed longer, so every smooth, clean taste disappears without a trace. New Bud Dry. It comes on strong. Then it's gone.
The lights on these cars are running on battery power alone. And in the end, only one, the car with the new Die-Hard battery, our most powerful ever, is able to start. Great low prices every day, Die-Hard power. That's your money's worth and a whole lot more.
Road Handler Treadlocks. Test them for 1,000 miles. If you don't agree they're the toughest tires you've ever owned, Sears will buy them back. Great low prices every day. Road Handler Tough. That's your money's worth and a whole lot more.
When other truck makers claim to save you money, you have to take their word for it. To know how much a truck really costs, you need facts. Toyota 4x2 can save you almost $1,400 in operating costs compared to Chevy S10. And 4x4 saves almost $2,400 compared to Ford Ranger. The facts clearly show that Toyota quality means lasting value. But don't take our word for it. It's all here in black and white. And now factory-to-dealer incentives can save you hundreds. See your Houston Super 6 Toyota dealer today.
As we move on to the 7th inning, in the game that Bob Knepper said was the most important for him since the '86 playoffs, we find the score at 2-2, and Knepper's work is finished. He did a job for the Giants, just what they expected, kept them in the game. He cannot win nor lose it, but this guy can, Jeff Brantley. His first pitch to Yelding is high, ball 1. So as Brantley gets ready to deliver again, here's Bill Brown.
Thanks, Larry. And Bob Knepper went 6, allowing 7 hits and 2 runs. There's a strike, and the count goes to 1-1 on Yelding. Knepper walked a couple, and he struck out 3. In fact, as you look at Brantley's numbers, 6-0 and a 4.01 ERA. Knepper struck out the side in the 5th, something he didn't do for the Astros all season. 2 balls and a strike.
Brantley throws the fastball. He throws pretty hard. Got a forked ball and a slider.
Oh, and now he's hit Yelding. He is really rolling over in some pain. Roger Craig comes out of the Giants dugout for some reason. And we'll see why very shortly.
That was scary. Yelding's lucky that didn't hurt him worse. Craig thinks that he swung the bat. Now, if you swing the bat at a pitch and get hit, technically it's a strike because you have swung and missed before it hit you. And that's what Craig is claiming.
Yeah, Roger trying to say that he bunted at the ball and therefore it should be a strike and not a hit batsman. But Yelding is now talking with Dave Lavoisier and indicating he's all right to stay in.
Bring the shoulder. He was starting to bunt, but it looked like he realized when it started coming at him that he was going to pull the ball back, pull the bat back. I don't think you could call that a swing.
No, you're right. He took the right hand off the bat and was pulling it back. In fact, had let go of it. So it would appear to be a very accurate call by John McSherry. Brantley opens by hitting Yelding. We'll see now if Yelding tries to create a little pain for the Giants pitcher by stealing a base.
I bet you they pitch out.
Rafael Ramirez was taking a lot of pitches last time he was up and Yelding was on. Eric finally stole a base and then popped up and went to third on the throwing error into center by the catcher Kurt Manwaring. Ramirez has a hit and a walk as well as the strikeout. Here's ball 1 to Ramirez.
Brantley has basically been the guy that has benefited by some late Giant uprisings, much as Danny Darwin has for the Astros with that 6-0 record. You come into a game like this, if you hold them for a couple of innings and your team scores, you become the winning pitcher, and most of the time it's been Lefferts or Bedrosian who has saved it.
25-year-old right-hander from Mississippi State. Drafted in the 6th round in June of 1985. Yelding is back. Brantley was on such a roll, and the Cincinnati Reds were on such a terrible stretch of baseball that it was interesting what he did over a period of about a month's time. From June 29th through July 25th, Brantley won those 6 games. And in that same period, he won 2 more games than the Cincinnati Reds did.
Trying to pick Yelding off. That one wasn't as close. The fans think they've got a better view of it than Joe West. And it looked like Yelding was going. He was leaning the wrong way.
Brantley had All-America status at Mississippi State in the 1985 season.
But he was not on the roster when spring training began, so his stock has soared.
Makes another throw to first.
He's not a big guy, 5'11", 180 pounds. But he's got a good arm.
Matt Galante coaching at third. If you were not with us earlier, Phil Garner is in the hospital here with a kidney stone, so Ed Napoleon's coaching at first. And he's hoping to assist Eric Yelding here in moving around the bases in a 2-2 ball game. The Dodgers now are leading San Diego 4-2 in the top of the 8th. Pitch out, Yelding going, and he still beat it. The throw gets out into right field. Yelding is hurt. He doesn't get up. He didn't see the throw apparently get away. And there might be a call for obstruction here. Charlie Williams is coming in from third. Matt Galante was yelling something. Well, apparently not. Williams just went over to throw him the batting helmet.
It's awfully nice of him.
Yes, usually you don't see an umpire venture that far for a nice gesture, especially when he's just thrown out the manager the day before.
Gives you an idea how quick Yelding is on a pitch out, and with Manwaring coming out from behind the plate and moving forward with the pitch, he still gets there the same time the ball does. It's a shame he didn't see it get away, because he could have easily gone into third.
He threw his arms up. We thought maybe the shoulder had bothered him on that slide, but that's his 6th steal, 2nd of the game. And the count is 2-0. Ramirez didn't have to bunt at it. It's ball 3. The Giants, of course, have released Goose Gossage, so their bullpen has changed its complexion. But Brantley's been that man in the middle to help glue things together to get to Lefferts and Bedrosian. 3-1. Brantley had a save last year and a loss in 9 games with the Giants. This is his 3rd outing against the Astros this year. He appeared in consecutive games against them in late June.
Born in Alabama, he lives in Clinton, Mississippi now.
Ramirez bunts. Matt Williams is there and gets him as Yelding takes the turn at third. That's 1 out.
Well, nice job by Ramirez. It was a good enough bunt that he had at least an outside chance. The Giants